Hello, good afternoon. I'm Ryna Brideau-Thombs, and I'll be your host for today's session. Welcome to the Charlie Call presented by the Treble Victor Alberta chapters. This is the first of our monthly series that showcases the people and organizations that are working to support veterans, as well as those veterans who continue to serve in our communities after taking off the uniform. Charlie Calls will feature Treble Victor members and veterans-oriented organizations with the intent of sharing our expertise, passions, and successes. Charlie Calls will consist of a brief interview followed by an open Q&A period where everyone is encouraged to engage with the presenters and the issues that are being discussed. We hope you enjoy this series. Just a quick one about myself quickly. I'm a member of the Treble Victor Edmonton chapter. I'm currently a reserve finance officer with the Loyal Limited Regiment, and my civilian beret is head of emergency management for a major power and water company headquartered in Edmonton. I have the privilege today to welcome fellow Treble Victor Edmonton member Natalie Forcier. Natalie joined the Canadian Armed Forces in 2002 as a medical technician. She served 2 tours in Afghanistan in 2008 and 2010 and took her medical release in 2016. Today, we're going to take the next 15 to 20 minutes to discuss Natalie's foray into civilian life since 2016, and we'll cover really briefly her transition out of the military, what she's doing now professionally, the skills that she's bringing to the table from her service, and her current passion project, the Veterans Food Bank, why it matters so much to our community, and what you can do to support the mission. So Natalie, welcome.
Oh, well, thank you. Thanks for having me.
Thank you. So Natalie, what I wanted to know is you left the military in 2016. And so how's your transition been? That was 4 years ago. So
I know it's been a bit of a whirlwind, and it's definitely not a linear path that I took to get to where I'm at now. I'm happy to say, like right now, I'm being seen by a psychologist, and it's very effective being able to talk about what I've been through, and I'm seeing a back case manager. So that piece, I finally am able to come to terms with a lot of things and start my healing journey. Mm-hmm. Of course, when I left the military, I went from uniform on a Friday, and then come Monday, I was a college student in an environment that I'd never seen before, and vastly different than what I experienced in the military. So it wasn't until I had completed my massage program and moved back to Saskatchewan, in the small town I grew up in, and that's where I started my company. But living in such a small town, I realized how easy it was to isolate myself, and the heaviness and the grandioseness of the transition and the struggles became very apparent. So it was, one of those things where, the emotions and life feels super, super heavy, and that heaviness just seems so unbearable. And I knew that wasn't healthy and I wasn't in a good place. So I decided to make it a part of my life and my mission to help veterans, considering my entire adult life had been in the military, and that's essentially all I knew. So it was along that path and being involved with other veterans and meeting new people, veterans alike, and there's that instant connection that I realized that continuing on this path of helping veterans was in turn going to help myself. So transition not so smooth, but being around other veterans has helped me a lot. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So do you find that there's something about Army life that was maybe a little tough to leave behind when you left?
Well, the thing is, the thing I realized the most was that I left behind a title, a rank, a position, a scope of practice, a family. And when I was out of the military and the transition period with the voc rehab had been completed, I no longer had that. And I went from high school to the military, so that's essentially all I knew. And it was a struggle. And so connecting with other veterans has helped me tremendously. So
Well, we're certainly glad that you did.
yes, oh, definitely.
So post-transition, it's 4 years later, you're now the owner of Prairie Veterans Wellness. You're the co-founder of an integrated, of a health clinic, I'm sorry. So how did you land here from college student on a Monday wondering, wow, what's this all about? I'm not used to this, to being your own, like really in your own right. Like there's quite a bit of courage that comes with being an owner.
Yes. Well, I knew early on, after leaving the military and being on my massage program throughout my business classes, we had to write business plans. And I knew then that having a purpose of helping veterans was going to be the path I was going to take. I didn't know what it was going to look like, but in my early business planning sessions, it was very primitive to what it is now, but I knew that providing services beyond just medical and including the socioeconomic pieces that make up your health, your mental health, that was important. How I was going to get there, I didn't know, but here I am now. So yeah.
There's a business writer and he's a speaker and a TED Talk and stuff. And one of the things that he talks about is finding your why. You know, why do you do things that you do? And it sounds to me like that you did find your why.
Yes,
and
of
that's
course.
the thing that drives everything you do. So we're certainly glad that you did. A couple questions related to that though. So when you find your why and you become your own kind of boss and everything like that, what's the number one challenge with being your own boss? Because sometimes people are like, well, I want to start my own business, but I don't know where to start, I don't know what to do. And they're kind of scared about that. So what's a challenge that you faced?
I would say my biggest challenge was myself. Because being in the military, I was an NCM, I was a medic, so there was always doctors, nurse practitioners, or other professionals essentially above me within the chain of command. So I was used to a chain of command. Getting out of the military, there was no more chain of command. There was no one telling me what to do, where to be, what my goals were. That was all on me. And it sounds really cool when you're like, oh, I get to be my own boss. But the civilian world is much different. It operates differently than the military. So my biggest challenge was finding out where I fit and what areas I needed to grow. Okay. So like the corporate world is much different than the military. So it was figuring that out and then surrounding myself with people who could help me develop corporate knowledge and the talk and everything that comes along with it. So yeah.
You didn't give up on being your own boss. So there's gotta be something real good about that. Well, every day you get up and thinking, this is me, this is what I do. What's the number one reward of being your own boss? Because you didn't go back to being told what to do.
No, but of course the benefits of being your own boss is that you get to create the environment you want to see. Like the energy amongst the people that I work with, the communication, the collaboration amongst everybody. And I work with an incredible group of people that everybody has their strengths and we work with each other to build each other up. So, and that's something just in the military, that teamwork, the collaboration, the working as one solid unit for a mission, like that will always stay with me, but I can bring that to the civilian side and create the environment that I know everyone will thrive in and we will be successful.
Well, so far so good. Good stuff. So, you were a medical technician in the military. So you're bringing that to the civilian world right now. And bringing it to bear with your wellness practice, your clinic. So is there anything that you brought from being an Army medic that kind of surprised you? Like, wow, I didn't know I could do this, or I didn't know that could be useful.
Well, I think that, like, for me, it was the thing that stuck out the most wasn't necessarily me as a medic, but me as a soldier or a member of the Canadian Armed Forces. I grew up with 5 siblings, so I was always surrounded by other people. And so working together, the teamwork aspect is something that I really miss, and I didn't think that would essentially be a thing. But I think one of the skills that I brought forward was the ability to work as a team and collaborate and build other people up and for a common goal and purpose.
Mission first, they say.
Yes, that never changes.
Good stuff. So to the present now. So beyond, working with your Prairie Veterans Wellness Practice, your clinic, and you've done some work with True Patriot Love as well.
Yes.
You're a Treble Victor member, and you're serving on the board of directors now with the Veterans Food Bank. What is the Veterans Food Bank, and how did you get involved?
Well, the Veterans Food Bank is not just a food bank, and that's, I guess it's an understatement to what we provide. The entire committee right now is made up of all veterans, and every single veteran there has had their own trials and tribulations with military or post leaving the military. So everyone has that special dedication and all the same focus, same mission. So it was originally started as a Calgary Veterans Food Bank. And so they did really well, and they're helping us start the Veterans Association Food Bank here in Edmonton. So it's not just meal deliveries or collecting food, it's a community of veterans. So there's the food hampers, the peer support. There will be soup nights once COVID restrictions are a little less strict. There's training programs such as combat or mental health first aid CPR, warehouse training, as well as one of the committee members is a service officer with the Legion. So if it means helping with disability claims, CF1 cards, as well as any VAC related issues, we have people there that can help. And as a side note, with collaboration with Vets Canada, we've been able to help veterans that were either homeless or struggling financially and get them the resources through Vets Canada to be able to help them move forward. So the food bank itself is a phenomenal place where you can stop in, drop off some donations, or even just pop in for a chat. And there's that informal peer support that you get being amongst other veterans.
Right.
So much more than a food bank.
It sounds more like a food and connection bank.
Yes, yes. So I got involved simply by when we had done the first food hamper drive here in Edmonton. There was, I believe, over 100 food hampers delivered, and people came in droves to help, and it was just such an inspiring event. And it had happened through COVID, so like to see that and everybody come together for a common goal was incredible. So when they decided to stand up and get their own space here in Edmonton, it wasn't a question whether or not I was going to be helping out. I just didn't realize to what capacity. So
Okay.
Yes.
Right. Good stuff.
Yeah.
It's there's certainly a need,
Yes.
and it's there's something very rewarding about being able to see a need and be able to do something about it, not just stand back and go, gee, I wonder, and just kind of jumping in. So we very much appreciate that you've done that and that you continue to do so. So it's been an interesting 4 years. I can't wait to see what the next 4 is going to bring.
Me too.
So, and like I said earlier, the food bank is, it's a service that we certainly want to support. And with COVID-19 has created a lot of challenges in the job market, in the services market. And, for us that are really, well, you've mentioned it before, like we're so used to working together and being in a group of people as a team. You're never really alone when you're in the military, really, whether you like it or not.
Yeah.
And so I think that just really, really, we felt the pinch, but I think we're going to feel a pinch even more in the holiday season. And so we really want to support you in this endeavor. So can you give us a sense of what are some of the things that you would need in terms of donations and contributions to the Veterans Food Bank?
Well, there's many ways to help out. Like currently, volunteers, having dedicated volunteers to sort food, fill up food hampers. So there's volunteers, so it's not necessarily financial or a food donation, even just a bit of time. And then there's that peer support that you get being amongst other people. So there's that hidden like little extra, I guess. So, but for the month of December, the Treble Victor group, in lieu of a Christmas gathering, has decided to dedicate December 8th to help support veterans in the Veteran Association Food Bank. So we're all encouraged to drop by with a donation, say hello, meet the team, see the space, and just kind of be there to kind of understand the needs at a greater level. So that'll be December 8th, where Treble Victor members are encouraged to pop in for a visit.
Okay, good stuff. Okay, so just a couple things right here. So thank you so much for all the information you've given us and for sharing your experience and your story today. December 8th is already marked on my calendar. I did that a couple days ago in preparation for this interview. And I really encourage everybody on the call today to sign up for December 8th as well. Put that in your calendar and be prepared to help Natalie and her team support our veterans community. Your story is very compelling, and so I wanted to give our members a chance to ask you some questions too. To all of our members, if you would like to put your questions in the chat box or raise your hand, and then our member Chris will ask Natalie the questions. So opening it up to questions right now.
Okay.
As we sit here patiently waiting for any questions that are coming in, one of my questions is, what sort of food staples actually would you be looking for at the food bank?
So currently the food bank does not have refrigeration and coolers or anything, so any non-perishable items are really important. The things that people don't necessarily think about are feminine hygiene products, cleaning supplies, body washes, things that, you know, if you can't afford food, you typically won't spend your money on that. We also help with, if a veteran that we're supporting with a food hamper, we'll also provide them with dog food, cat food if they've got any animals. We also request if there's any children, so NFLAC or diapers, things like that are all items that we desperately need. And or even just something simple as a monetary donation to help offset the cost of the building, the lights, as well as, because we currently don't have perishable capabilities, we also will provide the veteran with their food hamper, $100 gift certificate to like a local grocery store so that they can buy milk, bread, or other perishable items.
Good stuff.
So that would be the greatest need right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Good.
Yeah.
Good stuff. Thank you, Chris.
I'm not seeing any questions. Everybody still has their mics on mute.
Well,
Maybe if they don't feel like typing, maybe they come off mute and I'll put my headphones in and see if any audibles come over the line.
In the meantime, can I go ahead?
Go on.
Sorry. Okay. So I need to go to interview school. So in terms of the donation, if somebody says, well, you know, maybe I prefer to give money because then it's more flexible with what you guys can do with it, stuff like that. Are the donations tax deductible, or do somebody get a receipt when you do a financial donation?
Yes, as long as you provide your name, address, phone number, anything greater than $20 will receive a donation receipt.
Okay. Oh, perfect.
Yes.
Good stuff.
And we have also had, like, when we first entered the building, it obviously needed some repairs. So we've had some construction, flooring, the shelving, all donated. And so there was a donation receipt given in lieu of their, like
Right.
the flooring, the cost of the flooring and
Right.
all that other stuff. So,
Fair enough.
yeah.
Good stuff. Right
Yeah.
on. So you mentioned earlier about going to take a visit at the food bank. Are you okay to give us the address of the site? So
Yes.
do we have to, sorry, the address, and then I'll have another couple questions related to going to do an in-person visit.
Okay. So the address, sorry, I don't know it off the top of my head, is 17220 107th Avenue Northwest here in Edmonton.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, we do have our first question, and this is from Quentin. What other things does the bank need? I'm thinking fridges, coffee makers, and that sort of thing. Are they needed?
Yes. So refrigeration, more like we would more require not just a small fridge. We have gotten fridges donated, except they don't necessarily hold the amount of foods that we need. So larger fridges would be a huge asset to the,
Like the commercial ones where
commercial
the big
size
doors
ones, yeah.
and the, okay.
so, and that would allow us to hold the perishable food, so,
Okay.
yeah.
Good stuff, right on.
Yeah.
Right, how did everyone discover this need? Do we have numbers indicating how many veterans are in this position of need? I ask because the food bank is addressing the symptoms. What can we do as 3V, as veterans, to address the cause?
Oh. Well, I think as just a Treble Victor member, I think it's important just to share the story and share the need. So, because the need, you know, prior to COVID, anybody struggling with their mental health, the COVID changes that have happened, like the need is that much greater. So there's no specific numbers, like for how many veterans are needing these resources. We've ranged for our food drives, our food hamper deliveries between like 20-30 to 100-120. And so I was privileged to be able to call a lot of these people and confirm the following food hamper delivery date. And a lot of them are under that mentality that somebody has it worse than me and, you know, give it to them instead.
And it sounds like to what your point you said a little bit earlier is there's the food piece, but there's a whole lot of other things like the training, the connection, the ability to get the resources that you need and things in a single spot. So the food part certainly meets that need there to help our colleagues who maybe wouldn't ask otherwise. But it's everything else you discover once you get past the food and then you walk in and see all these other things that they can have access to, which a normal food bank I don't believe would do. Is that correct?
No, not necessarily. Like we connected with the Edmonton Food Bank because we, like as myself being the community liaison representative, I want to connect with all the other social services in the area. So if there are veterans that are accessing that we have that connection and letting them know that we are an additional resource for them. So, but they've been helping up to 22,000 people a month since COVID hit.
Is that right?
So the need is great and the numbers, I don't think we'll have a really super accurate count on how many people are out there struggling. There's also that pride piece where people don't want to ask for help. And so we're here to say it's not like a donation of food to help you out. It's a thank you for your service. And it's tough times right now. The entire world is struggling. So putting your hand up for help when we're here to help is crucial in understanding that it's a thank you and let's get through this together.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And that's definitely what we want to do, especially this early in December when there's time to make a difference. So
Yeah.
it's certainly, it's December 1st already. We've been at this for 9 months, going on 10. It's time that we found out about this wonderful initiative. Chris, did you have other questions? Because I have a couple of follow-ons here.
This is pretty much the end of the questions. I think we can start coming around the horn. And
Okay.
Okay, well, can I start the horn? Okay, great stuff.
that's her.
She's all yours.
Okay, good stuff. No, thank you so much. So Natalie, on December 8th, it's kind of sort of our biggest day where we can make an impact. And so we can donate financially, we can donate items in kind, and you mentioned we can also go and visit. And so the address for the Veterans Association Food Bank is 17220 107 Avenue Northwest. Couple of questions. When we visit in person, there's been some restrictions imposed by government.
Yes.
So can you give us a little bit of, when we go, do we have to go by appointment? When we get there, some of the rules around making sure that we make our visit safe?
Yes, so the space itself is made up of 2 warehouses side by side, and there's a max of 10 people per side.
Okay.
So drop off donations, have a short visit, masks are required, sign in is required, and someone from the committee will be there to meet you guys, likely myself and a few other really cool members. So it'll be short and sweet, a quick little run through of the food bank space.
Okay.
And so really just to keep the numbers down and to reduce exposure. So
Okay.
yeah,
And what are the hours that day?
9 to 5.
Okay, so
Yes.
okay, so nice long day.
Yes,
Wonderful.
so, but I've spoken with Nick and the committee members that we will, I don't mind staying there till 7 or 1900. If there are people that can't make it, I'd be more than happy to stick around.
Certainly.
Yeah.
Thank you. We'll have to make sure we bring you some hot chocolate.
Yes.
Wonderful. So Natalie Forcier, thank you so much for sharing your journey and everything about the Veterans Food Bank. Before we let you back to your busy schedule, is there anything else that you'd like our membership to know or remember?
Well, I feel for myself, the one thing that I think is super important and that I have gained a lot from being a Treble Victor member is that we're in a unique position from a national standpoint that we're able to connect with veteran entrepreneurs across Canada.
Mm-hmm.
And for myself, growing myself as a civilian business person, I sometimes struggle with that. But having the mentorship, the connections, and the network of being with the Treble Victor team and our chapter here in Edmonton and Calgary, I think it's really important to essentially grow our chapters and grow the Treble Victor network, not from a number standpoint, but from that informal peer support that you get from connecting with another veteran. And what I loved about it the most is I sat down and done one-to-ones with retired colonels from our chapter.
Mm-hmm.
And there's no rank, there's no element, there's no what you did in the military has any bearing. It's all the here and now, and it's informal peer support, informal mentoring. And for myself, there's a lot of healing in that. And I think that that's something that our chapter and our network within Treble Victor is capable of doing. So yeah, that would be my take home.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
Thank you so much. And we appreciate your support, and we'll certainly support you in all of those endeavors. You can certainly look forward to that. So back to, so we're just gonna conclude. So we'll do the Charlie calls. The next one we are scheduling for January 5th at noon Mountain Time, and every first Tuesday of the month after that. And we'll send you more details by email. If you'd like to be interviewed, or you know of an organization that's doing amazing work that we should highlight, or you know someone in our community that we should talk to, please contact the organizing committee, Justin, Chris, Nick, and Josh. Thank you for all your time. We'll see you guys on December 8th. Once again, the site is, so the location is 17220 107 Avenue. The hours are 9 to 5 with a possibility of extension to 7. The website, if you can't attend in person, you can certainly donate by web online. Veterans Association Food Bank, all spelled out, .ca. And the phone number is 1-833-422 1-833-422-8387. So again, that's veteransassociationfoodbank.ca, 1-833-422-8387. Have a safe and great holiday season, everybody. We'll see you in January. Stay safe and look out for each other. Thank you.
And everybody, we're going to be starting to spool down here. Thank you, Natalie, for sharing everything you're doing to support the community. Looking forward to the apes from Josh. And we are going to bring up the old Charlie call. Remember, first Tuesday of the week, and we're going to go offline now, and you guys can talk amongst yourselves. That was the strike camp.